Good morning, Instagram. Happy Monday. I am about to start another wellness chat with Angela Golden and myself, a really casual yet informative conversation that is all about building community and just having the conversations about everything wellness, skin, holistics, how to navigate what comes through our treatment room. And I'm going to bring in Angela now. And of the entrepreneur and mom this morning because it's me home with my littles today. So we are also going to navigate how to perform something like this and be a mom at the same time. My son is asking me a question. Yes, love. Yes, you can. Yeah, go right ahead. They're inside. I have slippers. The grass is wet and he doesn't want to go get his bike right now. My shoes that I'm wearing?
I just want to wear
You want to wear my shoes to go get your bike in the grass. Hold on, let me bring in
my
Angela
Crocs.
to get your Crocs. Okay. We are just having a moment here about, I think that's a great idea, honey. The wet grass is going to be okay for you. This is what it's like to be a mom and an entrepreneur. Angela, are you there yet? Are you having, let's see, let me try this again. I know everyone's here for wellness, and we just had a quick 1 minute conversation, 1 second conversation around walking through the wet grass to get Crocs. That's all right, though. That is part of what the conversation is. Hey, Angela. Good morning.
Hello.
Did you catch any of that?
Just the croc request.
Yeah, I have. So I'm home this morning. It's just me and the kids. Camp is done. I was like, okay, I'll get their breakfast ready. I'll set everything up. I'll give them a little informative. Mommy's in a meeting. Give me just a moment. And I get the whisper, can I borrow your shoes to get my Crocs across the grass?
I,
Because the dew is obviously still has the grass soaked. But welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. I won't release mine from his bedroom until after we're done.
I know.
So
I'm playing a little Russian roulette here. The 7-year-old usually is the very good rule follower, and my 5-year-old is not up yet. And I have her breakfast made and ready, and we shall see. I have a feeling she'll
we'll
make an
we'll
appearance.
skip it here. Well, happy to be here. You had a good weekend?
I did. Yeah. We had really great weather this weekend. We played a little pickleball this weekend, did a little driving around to different playgrounds. That's like a thing for my kids. They love to go to different playgrounds. And we have a couple really nice schools in the area that have public playgrounds. So that's always fun. And then, some friends and ice cream. It's still summer. So all the good stuff.
I love that. Yes, it is
Yeah.
summer. We have a couple weeks left, and we should be getting every bit out of it that we
Saving
can.
every moment.
Yeah.
Yes. How was your weekend? Do you work weekends, by the way, or what do you do for weekends? Do you balance it with family and work, or all
Yes,
for the summer?
Saturday is my family day, and Sunday I'm in the studio. It was very calm for us this weekend because last weekend we had big adventures, and then next week we have big adventures. So we're kind of trying to balance it out a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Um, but I think that we had text a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and just for like a very little bit. I want everyone to know this is, again, so spontaneous, our conversation every time.
Which I
But
love.
had I had suggested that we talk a little bit about like identifying our values, and I felt like that was a good topic for us because it can be really beneficial to professionals who are trying to
Mhm.
choose all the things that go along with running your own solo practice. And
Yeah.
then even on a personal level for all of us, with making our choices and really knowing what our values are. And it makes it so much easier to say, is this in alignment or not? And move on from that instead of kind of agonizing over every decision.
and how to make those decisions. And is it the right decision or is it the wrong decision? Yeah, because I actually can be a very indecisive person. But when you really become grounded in who you are authentically and what your values are, it really clarifies everything for you. And as I think most everybody is still working on that. Or maybe some people are further along and more clear than others, but also perhaps I think it's okay to like change along the way as well from season to season. Maybe not necessarily on like the foundational values, but what is my value or and goals for the summer that might be different for the fall and the winter, and then making those plans and decisions around that. So knowing what your authenticness, that's a new word, I'll keep it, who you are authentically and what your values are is important, but it's also okay to change them along the way.
Well, I think that's part of really being a lifelong learner too, is
Absolutely.
really being open to new information, and being open to, changing what we thought was right. And I think that's really important for all of us, because hopefully with age and growth, we are learning new things all the time. But I think more people need to be thinking about what those real core values are for them that are kind of unchanging.
Yeah.
Versus people needing to be more flexible. I think that a lot of times, especially in our industry, I almost feel like we are too open-minded and not really rooted in our values. And because the beauty industry and the wellness industry, they're so fad-based. And I think it's really easy for us to just get swept up in whatever the momentum is around something new.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of estheticians who have spent a lot of money purchasing a lot of tools and products that they use for a very brief amount of time. And I think that also when you have people relying on you as an expert in whatever field you're in, I think that's another important reason to really lock into those values, because those people are attracted to you for that reason, and they're looking to you for guidance for that reason. So when you're kind of waffling all over the place and easily swayed, I think it shakes their confidence in you.
Absolutely. So I think it's important to maybe mention here then, you can look at those values in in its most simple form, in two different levels, like your core foundation values, and then what your value is based around a goal. Because I think when I first started this conversation right now with you, I was thinking, my values for the summer are going to be different, and how I'm off a little more, I'm with the kids a little bit more, whereas in the wintertime, they're in school, we have a very different schedule, and so the values around that particular season are going to change. So today then, just to clarify, you're talking about the foundational, who you are as a therapist, who you are as a professional, as a person, as really those core foundation pieces.
Yes. And I feel like that what you're talking about, that summer to winter schedule, that is absolutely in alignment with your values, because you're working because your value is prioritizing your family above all else. So you're working less because they are home with you. And then when they're not there, you're going to work more. So I think that foundational value for you is family first.
Yeah. So speaking of weekends and working, my value around my schedule shifted maybe 2.5, 3, time just kind of all fades together for me a little bit. A number of years ago, anyway, at least 2, maybe more, I decided to drop weekends. And that was a really difficult personal choice, because I felt like, that's when everybody's off, right? Everybody wants the weekends, the evenings. And I started my family later in life. I was 35 with my first and 37 with my second and last. And when they hit, and of course, I was really part-time. I made sure personally to be, I wanted to work a little bit, but I also wanted to be home a lot. So I worked just part-time. And then I hit a stride where my clientele was picking up. The weekends was what worked because that's when they were available. It just so happened to work with my husband's schedule. We wanted to be home. One of us wanted to be home raising our kids instead of a daycare, which everybody's choice is different there, just again on my own. And but a couple of years ago, and now they're at a different point within their young lives. I have an almost 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. They're a little more independent. They're active, and the weekends after school is now when they're home, or after we did do a little bit of preschool with them as well. So long story short, I was nervous about that, but I had an open conversation. I like to be personable with my clientele. I try not to be too personal, but you do end up sharing your life with them
Oh,
to a
yes.
degree. And they understood when I was transparent and how, my value being a mom first was important to me. And a lot of them, actually, all of them embraced that with me and for me, and just moved with me over to the midweek schedule so that I could keep that important foundational value, which was being home with my kids on the weekends. And in reality, they're going to hit a certain age where they're not going to want to be with me, and I'm sure I'll be back to weekends at
I,
that point.
I don't know about that. I have a 17-year-old that still wants
Oh,
to spend every minute with
I
me.
love
So,
that. Okay, that's encouraging.
yeah,
You never know,
we never
but
know. We can hope, right?
yeah, so I just want to share that bit of encouragement. Sometimes it can be, once you've been in a schedule for a long period of time. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and the thought of not doing weekends anymore, I thought I was going to, the worst case scenario just kind of came in, and I'm going to lose my clients. But no, they buy into you. They buy into what you're bringing in for a treatment, what you're bringing to the table, who you are as a therapist and what you're delivering. Not, and the schedule, sure, there's a benefit to working weekends, but when you have something wonderful to offer, they'll follow you.
Yes.
And I want to encourage anybody that's kind of in that limbo of deciding what they're doing. Just, lean into that, whatever it is.
And I think that when we have talked with conventional estheticians who are feeling this calling to going more green, that's one
Mm-hmm.
of their struggles too. How is this going to be received by my clients? And again,
Yeah.
you're rooted in that value system and you're making that choice because you feel that strongly about it. I just like they did with your weekends. I feel like your clients are going to come along for it
Mm-hmm.
because they believe in you. They're here for you. And so I think that just with schedule, with choosing lines, with choosing modalities, whatever it is professionally, I think that if we can always bring it back to that, then you're going to find success.
And that's where the magnetism comes from when you're in that authentic
Yeah.
space. It was back in April. If anybody wants to look back on our Instagram lives, Noemi Miret out of Florida did a talk on how to create your authentic business strategy and just how that creates magnetism. And when we are standing strong in what we are, who we are authentically, the right clients come forward too. It's kind of a beautiful thing. You end up with the right people in front of you too in your practice.
Oh, most definitely. Most
It's
definitely.
amazing.
Yes. Um, I have a slightly newer practitioner that works in my studio, and she has been doing things a certain way. She wants to be shifting into another way, and she's just so nervous about her clients not not liking her new ideas. And she always is saying to me, like, what about you? Like, do your clients, do they agree to this? Do they agree to this thing you want to do? And it's like, I have attracted to the right people that just trust in what I'm doing. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely feel like that is because it's been authentic from the beginning. You're
I have a small example of that. Maybe you'll remember this conversation or not. Like years ago, um, I'm talking like 5 years ago. I'm basing it off of Everly was a baby, my youngest, and I came to see you when you were using CBD products, and I was like, gosh, I don't know if I can introduce that. It's something. Um, it wasn't legalized at the time, which CBD is not the same as THC, but I think saw it as a stigma, or I had the stigma around it. And I remember asking you, like, how do you introduce it? How do you utilize it on your clients? And you were like, you just do. You're the professional. You know when this would be appropriate. And it was a good mind shift for me because that's exactly how I move forward with CBD products now. I think it would be beneficial for certain skin conditions. I think I'm a massage therapist as well, as most of you know. And I think it would be beneficial for certain things that people come in with muscular wise. And I stand in that foundation now and I'm confident in it. And it makes such a difference. We are the professional, and I think that's when our clients will accept whatever new or different we are bringing across because we are the authority in that particular field. So it's yeah, it can be a mind shift for us just as much to kind of get behind that in order for our clients to not start to but just accept whatever new that we are bringing in your example of your member there trying to go in a different direction.
and I love that example specifically because if you think about your value system as a practitioner, your number one goal is, you know, healing and helping and doing what's best for their skin and their bodies. And so they know that's what they get from you. And that's why
Yeah.
they can trust you when you said, this CBD is what you need right now.
Yep.
So that can be really difficult, again, in this beauty industry because we're very, you know, if you're not holistic, then you're very easily caught up in the right now
Instant
and the
gratification.
all of the superficial stuff. And it's like you can't really I don't know many people, and maybe I'm just surrounding myself with the right people, but I don't know many people who's really placed their value system in how they look. So, and that's what our industry asks us to do with our value system. How can I make you look the best in the shortest amount of time
Yeah.
for the shortest amount of time? Because a lot of times in this industry, the goal is to have them on the hook and need you and be coming back very frequently to maintain these results that really are not supposed to be maintained
Right.
because it's fake.
Right. And I don't think necessarily, or let me back up. I think it is important for a lot of people to want to feel and present themselves their best. But if you have not fully sat down to really investigate your true authentic self, it actually, I say it this way because it took me a long time to realize how much I thought were my values based on what was being fed to me through media on television, through magazine ad, through social media. And when you stop to really look at, well, what are my values? You realize that a lot of those do fall by the wayside. So I think when we're living such a fast-paced life, we just aren't always paying attention to that authentic piece, and we're just quick to grab at those. So I think it's us fully slowing down and having alone time with yourself as well, having these conversations with ourselves. What do I really like? What are my values? Do I want to look beautiful? Yes, but is, the Botox or the fillers or the Jesner peel really what's going to make me happy, or am I looking for that, what society is influencing us with right
Exactly.
now.
And as women, it's really, really difficult to step away from all the noise that we
Yeah.
have surrounding us. I mean, I remember when I was much, much younger, just all of those Victoria's Secret
Yeah.
models or the Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, and I was like, I need to get that body.
Yeah.
But I would be probably hospitalized if I was that thin. Like, and stepping away from all that and being like, yes, I want to look good, but what is that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not that. And I think it's the same thing with our skin and our faces. It's like, yes, I do
Yeah.
want, like you said, I do want to look my best, but what is that for me? And how much time and money
Mm-hmm.
and energy do I want to be putting into just looking good? Because that's not in line with my value system. You know, it's I'm just not
Yeah.
okay with spending that much energy on looking good.
Yeah. The way I have this conversation, I kind of navigate it differently from person to person. But when I have a client come in, maybe that's newer to me, especially now where I've shifted over into a new space that's resort, I've already started to see clients that are just transient. They're here for a weekend and they're gone, right? So how can I help support or further? Because I feel like I'm an educator always as well, right? In who we are as an holistic esthetician, massage therapist. Uh, when a new to me client comes in and is like, I'm thinking about Botox, or I don't like these wrinkles, or I have these laugh lines, I bring it back to healthy skin. What we want to do, what my goal for you is to get your skin to um, feel its healthiest, to be its healthiest. When you have healthy skin at a cellular level, the rest will kind of fall into play as well. When your skin is healthy, when your microbiome is intact, then you can start working on some of these other things that perhaps you'd like to improve without having to jump to the Botox, to the filler, to whatever it may be. So that's kind of a gentle segue in for me to have that conversation. Is my goal is to give you your healthiest skin possible, and the rest will fall into play.
I love that. And I always think of it as resilient skin and
Resilient skin.
just something that you don't have to be constantly tending to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I agree that that is the main goal. And when it comes to Botox, I think, and I'm talking to people who are really considering it or who have already done it and are thinking about continuing. The things that I always refer back to when I want them to think hard about it is they've done studies on women who had it, and you can go down a rabbit hole and see all of these
True.
very scary reactions to Botox. And I'm not trying to freak someone out like that, but they have done other studies and they have shown that women who have had Botox have a harder time connecting to their babies because we have
Yes.
micro expressions, and those micro expressions are lost when we use Botox. So
Mm-hmm.
it's most apparent with babies and trying to connect to their babies, but even just person to person, there is something lost between us.
That
And
expression we're supposed to see
exactly,
on each other's faces.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think that, to me, connecting with others is of higher value to me than not having my 11s. And then the other thing
Absolutely.
about Botox that, again, I place a higher value on is studies have also shown that women who have Botox can have a harder time achieving orgasm because they literally can't make the ugly O face.
There's a reason right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Conversation done.
Right.
I yeah, I think that conversation around being healthy too. I also think of my daughter who's 5, and that's the conversation that I want to have with her. So, I feel like like whether it's skin, and I know we're using Botox as an example, but just getting to the goal that you want, doing it in a healthy manner is the conversation that I want to have with my daughter, who's only 5. But we are, we don't talk about bodies and body shapes and what's going on with people's skin from a place of judgment, or even it's not that I don't want this to sound, we're just not labeling anything right now, because I don't want her to form an opinion as if it's being judged, good or bad. So we just talk about how to be healthy and what kind of foods we're putting into our body and how we take care of our skin and when we wash it and those types of things. And I think just a rerouting of conversation with our clientele is going to be received wonderfully if we start in such a gentle manner as well. Sorry, they came barreling through. I thought something was happening. um, because it's good also to be very strong in our own foundation and what our values are. But we also, as practitioners, we do have an open door to everybody. And I think, you catch what was that thing I was going to try to say? I lost it and I'm not going to mess it up. So anyway, you catch more people you can have a further conversation by going at it gently, I guess is
Most
what I'm trying to say.
every
So rather than coming in strong, I think that healthy piece, is a good segue in.
totally. I agree. And I think that anyone in this industry, whether they realize it or not, probably one of their core values is nurturing
Mm-hmm.
others.
Yeah.
So you don't need that, coming in strong, like you said, that's not the way. And like I said, we all have our reasons.
Yep.
If Botox is really for you, or whatever it is you're doing is really for you for whatever reasons, then I'm going to support that. But I
Yeah.
want to gently have you thinking about your choices. Yeah, but I agree. Like, gentle is best. No judgment, and especially with our daughters. Same thing in our house where it's like we talk about, is this food gonna fuel you? Is that what you need right now for
Mm-hmm.
fuel? Is this making you feel strong and fast and
Mm-hmm.
healthy and whatever it is? It's not about the look. So I completely agree. And again, I think we talked about last week, but it really is up to us to be reversing the messaging that's being sent to young people right now
Yeah.
on what we should look like. And so, that's another reason to kind of just embrace what you've got and try to be as healthy as you can, see what the results are from that, and kind of call it a day.
Absolutely. Because if not us, then who,
Exactly.
right? They're
Exactly.
going to be influenced somewhere. And I don't want to be an influencer, but it's me just educating my clients as they come through, or these conversations here, just to help support others within our communities and network to continue and further this conversation.
Right.
It's those seeds we're planting along the way. And eventually I will have a client come full circle and tell me a little bit more about how you gua sha to help your 11s. Or, it's eventually they are intrigued, and I have had conversations from planting those seeds.
Oh, my favorite is after a few visits and they say, I'm not wearing makeup on my face anymore. I feel good going out without makeup. And I'm
I
like,
love
yes,
that.
that
Yes.
was a win. I have influenced you, I guess, in the very
Right.
best way. Yep. So
Good
it
morning.
is 9 o'clock. Oh,
Morning.
hi,
I have my
cute
sleepy head awake.
face.
Say good morning.
I
I'm on a
like your
phone call
sleepy
for a minute.
eyes.
Had a fun late night last night. So she's usually my early bird, but we let her sleep in.
She
You gonna play with
looks like
brother?
she partied a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little sugar high last
Yeah.
night, maybe some ice cream. I'm not gonna lie.
It is 9 o'clock, so we can wrap up. But I will say that I would love to hear from anyone who is either already on the holistic path or really considering it, and anything that we can talk about that might help them identify their values or figure anything out as far as that goes. Reaching out to either one of us, we're here for it. And I think the whole point of us doing this is just to be accessible to anyone who is considering going down this path, either personally or professionally. So message us.
And those of you that are interested in really kind of diving into this foundational why of the holistics, and Angela and I have a class coming up this September, the 24th and 25th. It's a deep dive. We're calling it a master class. It's going to help you understand really the why behind what we do in the treatment room. And you can find more information on that at www.holisticspaalliance.com. Under happenings, you can click on Angela's page or just message either one of us and we'll send you that information. But that's going to be a really great deep dive into the foundation pieces to understand how to navigate and how to choose what you are choosing for tools, for products, for modalities in your treatment room.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. I hope you have a fun day with all those tired babies.
Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.